you know, the feeling of hurt and maybe souls that were carried in this vehicle, and they are still being replayed to this present day. And I feel that there is one particular soul that must have lost his actual life, actually, whilst he was in this vehicle. His name's Robert. And, you know, I was made aware, the name come to me 3 or 4 times. Now, I know for a fact, or I say I know for a fact, I feel that the name Robert spends a lot of time around this vehicle. It's like as if he's coming back in memory. And, you know, his last thoughts and what have you. And I feel he was screaming. He was screaming out. It was like, please don't let me die. Save me. Please don't let me die. And his blood and what have you was just coming from. They couldn't prevent it. And I feel that he is an active individual spirit. He's coming back and replaying it, and that's a fact. He's not doing himself a good service.
I was going to say, why would he do that?
Well, you know, this man flays himself because he was responsible for a unit of men or a group of men, whatever it's termed, and he still feels to this present day he let them down at the last moment. He was mortally wounded, fatally wounded, and what have you. And that's been replaying. Even when he came out of his physical body, before his body was taken from this vehicle, I can feel his emanations around my shoulders now. Who? Now, it sounded like, to me, it's either Nixon or Dixon. Right. Robert Nixon or Dixon.
Right. Well, should we ask Richard? Richard? Yes. Can you ask Neil on the walkie-talkie? Yeah. Robert Nixon or Dixon, please?
Neil, come in, please.
Really loud and clear, carry on.
Neil, Derek's picked up a chap called Robert, and he's just come up with the name either Nixon or Dixon, and it's actually to do with the back of this ambulance here where screams have been heard. I don't know whether you know of a name like that, do you? Robert Nixon or Dixon? Over.
Nothing immediately comes to mind, but again, we can always check it on the records later. Over.
OK, Neil, out to you.
I hope he gets it explained to him that the group of men that he was involved with and over, the vast majority of them did not lose their lives like him. I feel some of them come out of the war-torn conditions and lived on. So, you know, I believe Sam will explain this to him, which will take that easement, and hopefully he will then go on truly and stay where he is and progress that way. And this will stop here. Right. The residual energy will stay silent.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you want to move on somewhere else?
Yes, love to.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we moved from the ambulance, we had word that the rest of the crew were experiencing strange noises in the kit room.
The electrical works just suddenly came straight on all at the same time. And out at the back, immediately preceding that, we heard a very firm rattling, and it sounded like some sort of gate or bolted doorway rattling on the door.
Okay. Did everybody else hear it?
Yeah.
Really?
Where was that coming from?
It's like rattling of a...
What's the matter with Holly?
Something's upset her. Something's upset Holly. She doesn't usually bark, and as soon as she heard it, she started to bark. So something's definitely rattled her as well.
You coming in with me? Come on. What? I need Holly. What's it, Holly? What do you feel, babes? What do you feel? Come on, then. Excuse me. Come on, Hollis. Come on, baby. Come on. It's all right. Come on, Holly, babes. Okay. She just let herself right in, that's all. It's okay.
If the dogs come into this area, then I don't think there's anything going to be in this area, basically.
Yeah.
They are sensitive to these things, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. I mean, we've seen Holly all day, and listened to her and watched her in their own way, tail going all the time. Now, wasn't that so distinctive and so not like her?
Is that the first time she's actually barked while we've been here?
Yes,
It's the first time
I can remember.
Yeah. And often, you know, the dogs, especially the bitch dogs like her, she'll pick up when stuff is happening.
Derek had picked up on the 6 women who had all died tragically during battle. This had taken place by the pillbox. This small structure has now become famous for its paranormal sightings. Many people have witnessed small bright lights hovering around the pillbox. People believe these lights are the spirits of the 6 young women, and this was a place that we wanted Derek to visit.
Can you get in there?
You can get in there. You see there's water.
Now, can I just tell you what's actually happening now? Is I'm getting the emanations. And when we talk about, on camera, we caught the orbs and what have you. At times, to the naked eye, people may emanating from here, shooting out. I talk about the spirit life lights. And it's like as if I'm getting lights going. You know, I'm not staying to conformity, going at different angles and shooting up and going across. And this is brought about by these lovely ladies who lost their lives. I feel it's their infinite spark, their spirit selves, their life lights coming in a group, gathering together and then going away. And I feel that this could be, I don't know if it's a common occurrence, but I feel as if they've drawn attention to themselves and all people can see is these spirit lights.
Gosh.
And they still come here now. And it's around this area.
Well, that's actually quite true, isn't it?
That's spot on, yeah. People have seen lights around this area.
Well, I wouldn't be at all surprised, and maybe they've wondered what it is. And it's the 6 ladies. The ladies who come over at exactly the same time to the split second, boof! And, you know, they're looking at each other and it may be such a shock to them that they've, you know, they're out of the physical body, the body's blown to bits, I feel, you know, the physical body. And they're looking at it and I feel they do come back in this collective memory. They are not grounded here. They are truly in the world of spirit.
But they come in visitation.
But they come in visitation. And the way the naked eye is seeing it is not seeing the full spirit body, but the life light.
Right.
And it emits from here.
Why would anybody want to sort of come back in visitation after that kind of, you know, after the way they left their physical bodies like that?
They'll want to come back, they want to view and see as it is now. And also they've got the capability and the abilities to, when their lights are seen, they can see it as it was then. Right. So I firmly believe, I think this is what the feeling is, what I'm picking up from the energies here, is that they knew after leaving the physical body the outcome of what they were defending.
Right.
You know, the wartime conditions.
Yeah.
So to them, they knew that England was victorious, even though they'd done their bit.
Yeah.
And they're coming back, I suppose, in a very proud way of looking and saying, it's free. Yeah. That's what these people were thinking. They wanted freedom. Because, you know, without them, we wouldn't be standing here and living this life, would we?
Yeah. Let's head on back, shall we?
Okay, yeah.
Once back inside the museum, it was time to split into groups. Would we come across the spirits of Bury Savoury, Robert Nixon, or the murderer that is supposed to walk the Muckleburgh Museum? The crew had split into groups to cover the building more effectively. Carl, the director, Phil and Rick went inside the tank that is supposed to be haunted. Richard, Derek, Craig, Tom and myself went into Bury Savoury's office, where the staff have often reported paranormal activity.
It's not to disappoint, but there's no evidence psychically or even spiritually that this good gentleman is actually in the atmosphere right now while we're in the room, because that would just be thrown out at me. So if we'd maybe just stay quiet.
I'm going to sit in the chair where Derek sat earlier on. Not picking up any light anomalies. Oh, she said.